Life in her uncle's house was a special kind of difficult. Chidinma was no stranger to living with relatives, but this was a new level of cruelty she'd never known. Her uncle, Chief Obioma, was one of the wealthiest men in the village, a man of property and influence. His wife, Adeobi, was a proud woman who wore her beauty and status like a crown, and their children were selfish, spoiled, and often vicious. Chidinma was brought in to help with the housework, the cooking, the kids. She'd hoped just for a moment that she'd be treated like family. But that hope died quickly. The house was grand, dripping with extravagant decorations, but its heart was cold. Chief Obioma barely spoke to her, except to bark a harsh command. Adobe, on the other hand, made her disdain clear with every look, as if Chidinma was just a piece of furniture that didn't deserve basic decency. The children were even worse. They would break things and blame her, knowing their parents would always take their side. But it was Adeobi's treatment that cut the deepest. Chidinma worked from dawn till long after dusk, cleaning, cooking, washing. Yet Adeobi would mock her, calling her lazy, incompetent. Every day was a battle against exhaustion and a constant biting cruelty. But through it all, Chidinma held on to a tiny flicker of hope, a secret fascination. The golden plate. It wasn't just any plate. It sat at the very center of their dining table, a gleaming symbol of their wealth, reserved only for the most special occasions. But there was something strange about it. Adeobi kept it locked away in a glass cabinet, and the children were forbidden from even breathing near it. Chidinma was intensely curious, but she knew better than to ask. Then came a day that changed everything. Adeobi and the kids went to the market, leaving Chidinma behind to clean. As she swept the sitting room, she overheard her uncle on the phone. He was speaking in a hushed, urgent tone, but she caught a few chilling words. The plate must stay hidden, and no one can ever find out. A mix of suspicion and courage surged through her. This was her chance. She waited until her uncle left for a meeting, then tiptoed back to the sitting room. The cabinet was locked, but she'd seen where Adobe hid the key. Her hands trembled as she unlocked the glass door and lifted the plate. It was heavy, much heavier than it looked, and it shimmered in the light. But it wasn't the gold that stunned her. It was the inscription on the bottom, written in elegant script. As Chidinma read the words, her heart stopped. To the true heir of the Obioma fortune. Her mind raced. The Obioma family was rich, yes. But this plate? It was more than a decoration. It was a key to something far greater. A secret hidden in plain sight. A chill ran down her spine. She had to know more. She carefully placed the plate back, locked the cabinet, and her mission began. Over the next few days, Chidinma became a shadow, watching, listening. She noticed her uncle and aunt whispering in corners, their conversations stopping the moment she entered a room. But whispers weren't enough. She needed proof. Her attention zeroed in on Adaobi. One evening, as her aunt was putting away jewelry, Chidinma spotted a small, faded photograph tucked away in a drawer. It was a family photo, but something was wrong. Standing beside a younger Chief Obioma, unmistakable with his sharp features, wasn't Adeobi. It was a completely different woman. Chidinma's heart pounded. Who was she? Whispering to the older household staff, she uncovered a chilling rumor. Chief Obioma's first wife had vanished years ago, right before he married Adeobi. Some said she ran off. Others hinted at a darker, more tragic end. The pieces were clicking into place, but the puzzle was still incomplete. One night, sleep was impossible. The plate, the photo, the hushed whispers, it all swirled in her mind. She had to take a bigger risk. When the house was silent and dark, she crept into Chief Obioma's study. Rummaging through his desk, her fingers brushed against a thick old document hidden in a false-bottom drawer. It was a will. As she read the legal document under the faint moonlight, her stomach twisted into a knot. The will declared that the true heir to the entire Obioma fortune was not Adeobi or her children. It was the child of Chief Obioma's first wife, a child who had been completely erased from the family as history. The golden plate, she now understood, was the traditional marker of this inheritance. Chief Obioma had hidden it, terrified that the truth would destroy the life he'd built on a foundation of lies. The weight of her suffering suddenly made sense. The cruelty, the endless work. It was all because they saw her as nothing, a disposable servant. But she wasn't nothing. She held the power to shatter their perfect, false world. Chidinma didn't hesitate. The very next day, she confronted Adaobi. "I know about the plate," she said, her voice steady as she presented the photograph and the will. All the color drained from Adaobi's face. "You don't understand," she stammered. "I had to protect my family. What I did." But Chidinma wasn't listening to excuses. "You never treated me like family, Adaobi," she said, her voice laced with the strength she'd found. "But I'm about to change that." The truth exploded through the village like wildfire. Faced with irrefutable evidence, Chief Obioma had to confront his past. The shame was unbearable. His wealth, once a source of envy, now became a symbol of his deceit. In the end, Chidinma took what was rightfully hers. The golden plate was no longer a symbol of hidden secrets, but a symbol of justice, of power reclaimed. She walked away from the Obioma household, not as a servant, but as a woman who had flipped the board. With her inheritance, she built a new life, a business of her own. The cruelty she had endured had not broken her. It had forged her. It became the very seed of her triumph, and from it, she grew something more valuable than any fortune, her freedom. Thank you so much for watching our story unfold. If you were moved by Chidinma's journey, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We have so many more stories to share with you. See you next time.